Right then, hello everyone and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship. We are here for the 16th and final round of the 2021 Formula 1 World Championship, which will take us back to the Yas Marina circuit on the Yas Island for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Yes, Formula 1 is back at the Yas Marina circuit. It's been 5 seasons now. I believe, since we have been at this track. This was used for the season finale in 2017, but has not been used since then. But we are back. It's a brand new layout we're running as well. The recently updated and refurbished Yas Marina circuit, which will play host to the title decider of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. It's Enis Parachki for Mercedes-AMG Petronas, and it is Alfred Klaus for Red Bull Racing Honda. The two protagonists of this title fight will go head-to-head here at the Yas Marina circuit. It's going to be Parachki chasing his second consecutive title, but we'll see if the man in the Red Bull, who is going to clearly be the underdog today, Alfred Klaus, if he is going to be able to claim his and Red Bull's first ever Drivers' Championship. So there are a lot of big stakes here today in the United Arab Emirates. My name is Miran in the commentary booth. Pleased to join you for this title decider. Alongside me is, well, you'd expect it would be Giuseppe, but he's actually not here. He's on vacation in Italy. It is Jensen, who is alongside me. Oh, hello. I thought you were...
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
I thought you weren't here, but yeah, good afternoon to you, Jensen. You've not been very frequent in the commentary booth, but you are now joining us for a very, very important title decider. How do you feel?
It's very exciting, of course, because going to this brand new refurbished track. Obviously, Abu Dhabi doesn't really have the reputation in open wheel cars for great racing, so obviously going to be interesting to see how the track's going to impact this title decider. But it's always good to have a title decider in the last race, because it always makes it feel a bit more special, and it feels like there's a lot more resting on it, because usually the title's decided ages ago, like 3 or 4 races before the end. So it's nice to see that we've got some actual racing to go on here, because usually it's just a few minor, like 4th and 5th, trying to settle it out. This time it's for the title in Formula 1. So yeah, that's to look forward to.
Yeah, it is something that I think we all have looked forward to all the way to the end of the season. It's been a great hunt for the title between a lot of drivers, but it is Enis Parachki and Alfred Klaus who will come down here to Yas Marina as the two protagonists. And you did quickly touch upon the Yas Marina circuit. I think now is also a good time to go through the track. So the Yas Marina circuit, situated on the Yas Island near the capital of the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi. The track was opened in October of 2009, designed by infamous German track designer Hermann Tilke. It hosted the Formula 1 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in 2009 and has hosted the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix ever since. Apart from that, today it also hosts the Golf 12 Hours in the Intercontinental GT Challenge, and more recently as well the Asian Le Mans Series. You've also had formerly V8 Supercars, the GT1 World Championship, and even the World Rallycross Championship came here once in 2019. The track, located on an artificial island, passes by the marina on Yas Island and the Yas Hotel, which it runs under. We see through turn 13 and 14. You get to see that brilliant and big illuminated hotel lighting up in the night. Looks absolutely spectacular. And I think you've also got Ferrari World not too far off the track. I believe it is just off turn number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, the track, this is the new and refurbished layout for 2021. It is 5.281 kilometers long and features 16 turns. And well, as you said, Jensen, this track maybe isn't very well suited for Formula 1 open wheel cars, despite the fact it was built to host a Formula 1 race in Abu Dhabi. Despite that, though, it has played host to a few title deciders in real life Formula 1, obviously. Yeah, you'll go on.
So I think we had 2010, it was 2014 as well.
2014,
double points as well. So it was 50 points for a win. 2015, that was done by, I think, Kota, wasn't it? In 2015. 2015
I think it might have been.
I think, yeah, because Rosberg bottled it. 2016, obviously, here as well. And then obviously you had that little period of Hamilton domination. So obviously the title was decided by like June. And then after that, you had the infamous decider between Verstappen and Hamilton, whose fortunes are very fluctuated.
Yeah, and it is a bit, I guess, how would you say it? A bit fitting that you have one Red Bull driver and one Mercedes driver going into this title fight at Abu Dhabi. So, yeah, if this is going to be anything like real life, well, we might be in for a treat. Either way, we're obviously getting on the way with Q1. We've got 5 minutes left on the clock. It's Jesper Johansson who currently is fastest from Klaus in second. And Isparowski is down in 10th as we're looking at the man behind him, Alexander Arnold. You can see that Williams is running a bit of a changed livery today. He's sporting the German flag on the back of the car, as this is Alexander Arnold's final ever race in Formula 1. So Williams have decided to pay tribute to the man who has been in Formula 1 ever since 2017, and they run the German flag on the back of his car.
Yes, just going to watch now as he round the final few corners. See if he can improve into the top 10. He's just on the cusp of that top 10 in P11 right now. Oh no, he's coming into the pits. That's fun.
Yeah, he's coming to the pit lane there. Alexander Arnold currently sits in P11 ahead of his teammate Alex Broster in 14th. One other team who is running a special livery at the moment is Haas. You can see the blue of the Haas is gone. It's replaced by the red and white of the Danish flag, namely to commemorate Victor Albom, their longtime Haas driver, who has finally called it a day. I shouldn't say finally, that's maybe a bit mean, but he has called it a day on his Formula 1 career. The man who has represented Haas ever since the series' inception in 2017 has remained loyal to the little American outfit. He finally announces his retirement from Formula 1. And yeah, we'll bid farewell to two big legends of the sport here today, but alongside that we're also going to have a pretty big title fight at the moment. So we have 3 minutes to go. We're currently on board with Luca Farina here in the Ferrari as he makes his way down into turn number 6 now, and I have to say, Jensen, it's been a very interesting season for Luca Farina. First half of the season he spent in the Alfa Romeo. Obviously the big news came at the beginning of the season that Thomas Mandic would replace this man at Ferrari, but Mandic didn't get on too well in the Scuderia, and as a result he was dropped by the mid-season, and Farina was called back up into the Ferrari. And you can see after the Belgian Grand Prix, you just look at his results, it's been nothing short of incredible, becoming Ferrari's first race winner in 2 years.
Yeah, obviously Ferrari not really performing too well recently, but Farina's come in and won the Mexican Grand Prix, I believe, as he rounds the final corner, just putting a few laps in. I wonder if the drivers are trying to warm the tyres up a bit, because I've noticed Farina going around a few times now, and as Farina improves up to P5. Just going to put this out there, because I don't think it's been mentioned yet. McLaren and Ferrari battling for P3 in the Constructors' title. There's 1 point in it, so this qualifying session could be crucial to who gets P3 in the Constructors' Championship and who gets quite a bit of money from the prize pot at the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to wait and see how this will impact things, this battle between McLaren and Ferrari as well, now that we're so preoccupied with the two giants, Mercedes and Red Bull. There's very, very big stuff going on in the other parts of the Constructors' Championship as well. And as you said, McLaren and Ferrari, they've been going at it this entire season. You've had Laban Zasnishkai, who was absolutely electric in his first half of the season, have struggled to find his feet in this later half of the season, so to say. Luca Farina has been absolutely on in the later half of the season, and Josef Frederick Schutter from McLaren obviously picked up that race win at Silverstone and was going to get in a second one at Hermanos Rodriguez, but was denied following that accident with Jesper Johansson. So yeah, it's safe to say this has been a very, very enjoyable fight in the midfield.
Yeah, very enjoyable, as Klaus goes fastest with 33 seconds left on the clock, and that's going to be crucial for him in this title race, with Parachki down in P11. So that really changes the perspective on this title race. Unless Parachki can pull something in the next minute or so, as we're just watching Kulisec heading down towards turn 5. I think the Ferrari world is just beyond that hairpin, because I know you were on about that Ferrari world. I think it's got, is it the world's fastest roller coaster or the world's tallest roller coaster or something?
It is the world's fastest roller coaster. That's actually right.
Yeah, get a bunch of G-force off of that.
Yeah. As Q1, the checkered flag is out for Q1 then. As Alexander Arnold's going to round the final corner. Let's see if he is going to be able to make Q2 with this lap. Is he going to go across the line? Unfortunately, it isn't for Alexander Arnold in his final race. Jesper Johansson's going to go across the line. Johansson does not improve. He will be second. Miran Evji comes in what is going to be his final race for potentially a very, very long while. He comes into the pit lane after a pretty good qualifying effort. Victor Album has not made Q2 this season. We're going to see if he's going to be able to do anything here across the line. He does improve, but unfortunately it's 19th in his last Formula 1 outing.
Yeah, but now it's a chance for Klaus to improve on his lap time and go even further ahead. And he does by 0.07 of a second. Has now managed to cross the line. P7 for him and Kulisec. Currently P15. Where are they going to go up to? Doesn't improve.
We also, speaking of the title fight between McLaren and Ferrari, we have not mentioned the one man for McLaren who currently is knocked out, Josef Frederick Schutter. I didn't even notice this until now, but Josef Frederick Schutter is down in 16th and in the pit lane, meaning he is out of qualifying. This is going to be massive in the Constructors' Championship between McLaren and Ferrari, because one of their drivers will be starting in P16 as Q1 is now done and dusted. Enes Parachi did in fact clinch that fastest spot from Klaus in second, and your knocked out are Josef Frederick Schutter, Alexander Arnold, Eric Adelberg, Daniel Fraser, and then Victor Album.
Yeah, so very interesting. Obviously the shock of Schutter being knocked out. That's going to be quite big in terms of the constructors race. P5 in the standings right now. So obviously scores a lot of points this season, but he's going to have a massive job ahead of him come the race to try and get any more points and try and defeat Ferrari to P3 in the constructors race. So he's not going to be too happy with that.
Yeah, indeed. There's going to be a lot to do for Josef Frederick Schutter here today. And we'll see then if he is going to be able to do it. Schutter, who's been absolutely electric this season. We'll see if he can pull out one final performance here at Abu Dhabi. And then obviously Laban Zasnishkai, I think, will be the one man who'll be happy about this, considering he is 6 points behind Josef Frederick Schutter now. After scoring 0 points at Lusail, he'll be hoping to at least try and finish ahead and grab P5 in the Drivers' Championship as well.
Yeah, so we're just going to wait now, see when the cars are going to be back out onto the track. Very interesting qualifying session, as we mentioned. So now we go to qualifying 2, which involves 15 drivers, and we take the final 10 into the final session of qualifying, the final shootout, as we call it. So obviously the chance for drivers to cement their spot in the top 10, and we'll see any shocks come from that. We'll find out in just a moment.
We'll definitely have to wait and see what these following qualifying sessions will hold in store for us. Yeah, it is also Williams and AlphaTauri knocked out in Q1. You had Alexander Arnold not making it through into Q2, which is a bit of a shame in his final Formula 1 race. And then Eric Adelberg, think would have hoped for a bit more to be up there with his teammate Will Parrish. So yeah, a bit of a shame for Eric Adelberg as well, especially now that he's closed the gap massively to his teammate Will Parrish, who you can see has retired from 3 of the 4 last races. So the American has had absolutely horrible luck.
Yes, he has. As we're just watching now, a few of the cars on their out laps. Track temperature is probably going to be very high because we are in quite an arid country, and that's Johansson making a little mistake there. As I was saying, it's quite hot, the track temperatures. These soft tyres are usually good for just a few laps in these hot kind of temperatures, a hot track temperature. So we'll have to see how they can make that work. Just rounding now the final few corners. The track profile has been updated a bit, so these corners are now a lot more sweeping, a lot more. They can take them in the higher gear at higher speed. And obviously that means there's a lot more wear on the tyres this year as well. So we're going to watch now as Johansson starts his lap.
Yeah, we're going to go on board for a lap of the Yas Marina circuit then with Jesper Johansson heading down into the first corner. Slight lockup on the front left there from Jesper Johansson. I think that's the track temperatures coming into play as you head through turn 2 and 3. Flat out in these cars as you make your way down to new and reprofiled turn number 5. We've seen a lot of moves to the inside line here, especially in that Formula 2 race we had yesterday. Lots of moves being tried here. And then you're going to have a DRS zone as you head down the first of the back straights here. It's a long back straight as you make your way down into another very sharp braking zone. It's the chicane of turn 6 and 7. Through the left then and into the right as well. Really easy to go over that curve on the inside line, but you want to make sure you don't do that. And you're trying to maximize your exit here. So you're going to get another DRS zone heading down the back straight through this little kink, which technically counts as a corner. It's turn 8 and down to the brand new turn 9. Used to be a chicane, now it is just a fast and sweeping left-hander. Really important to try and get your line through there as best as possible. It's a very late apex as you'll be heading to turn 10 and now into 11 and 12. And now as you head under the Yas Island Hotel through turn 13 and 14, the 2 left-handers, so you make your way down to the final 2 corners. It's very open. Corner of turn 15 as you go through 6th gear through there and into the final corner. Shift down to 4th for turn 16 as you make your way across the line. And there it is, a lap of the Yas Marina circuit with Jesper Johansson to 129.136 as Will Parrish is the next man across.
Yeah, and I just noticed on the straightaway his teammate was helping him with a bit of the slipstream with the DRS. And I was wondering if that was a strategy employed by Mercedes, but it looked to be a bit... I don't know how to describe it. He wasn't getting out of the way in the end, so it seemed to be... Would the dirty air have impacted him in a way, as Evchi goes fastest now? Evchi in the Alfa Romeo beating out the Mercedes, so I'm guessing the dirty air has probably slowed Johansson down a bit, much more than the benefit of having that slipstream down the straight would have done.
Yeah, and I think also he did make a few errors on that lap. We saw that lockup into turn number 1. That would have easily cost him about 2 or 3 tenths. And then into turn 5, it just looked like to me that he might have braked a tiny bit too late. And maybe didn't get the power delivery on exit. So it wasn't the best of laps from Jesper Johansson, that's to say the least. I think maybe the tires weren't up to spec. And then obviously you have to take into account things like tire temperature and, well, track temperature and whatnot.
Yeah, just waiting for our 2 title contenders to set a lap time and see what it's going to look like as we've got 5 minutes left on the clock. Just wondering where they are now. Farina's just coming towards the hairpin as Tost goes 8th fastest, as Parachki goes fastest, and Johansson improves and goes up to 2nd, 1/10 down on Parachki. We're just waiting now to see where Klaus comes out in this order.
Yeah, that's good stuff from Mercedes so far here in Q2, and Klaus goes in the middle of the pair of them.
Yep, Klaus up into P2, 9/100ths of a second off his championship rival. As you can see now, Klaus sweeping up to the top as Evchi now down in P8. Just watching him come past this weird pit lane complex. The pit lane obviously going underneath the track in a tunnel-like situation. Very strange, very bizarre. I wonder what Herman Tilke was thinking when he was doing that, but you have to say that a lot about a lot of Herman Tilke's track. Like, how the hell do you build Abu Dhabi to support F1 races and then make it the worst track on the calendar? I don't know. That's my rant over to you, Maris.
Yeah, a lot of people have been critical of the As Marina circuit. But we did have the Formula 2 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here on yesterday, and to be fair, that was a very, very good race. So if Formula 2 is anything to go by, hopefully we should have a good race here in F1 as well. As we're looking at FG in 8th, it's not a bad effort from the man in his final race at the moment. In P8 in that Alfa Romeo, it's not a bad lap at all, as he is currently escaping the elimination zone, which consists of Fernando Tost, followed by Will Parrish, Daniel Wale, Thomas Mandic, and then Alex Broster, as Will Parrish has just improved himself up into P11. The Alpha Tauris don't seem to be too pacey around here. Usually you would see them up at the top, as Klaus now goes fastest. But yeah, the two Alpha Tauris don't seem to have a lot of pace around here.
No, not really. I wonder if it's just something to do with the car. Isn't doing too well with the heat. Obviously, these cars right now running in the climate that it's in, they're going to want to have a lot of cooling on the car, and a lot more cooling means a lot more drag. So that's what the setup change would have to be to ensure a bit more cooling, a bit more clear air gets through the car. As we're just watching cars come down the straight now. So obviously, it's how much sacrifice that you want to make with these cars. If you want them to be more cooling, then you're going to have to put a bit more drag on it to get the airflow through, and then obviously drag slows you down a bit. And you don't want to be running too close behind another car, because then you don't get that fresh air. You get the turbulent air, the dirty air running through the car, as Klaus goes half a tenth slower than his personal best. I can't talk anymore. As Rowdy the Hairpin, and coming up towards this. I'd say this is a double apex complex down here, or a triple apex if you want to say that. It's coming towards the hotel section, which is, as I mentioned before, been reprofiled this year, so it's a lot more faster, a lot more sweeping, and lots more time to be gained through here. As just going to round the final corner, and he doesn't dive into the pits like I thought he was going to, and that would have made my commentary useless. Coming around the final corner now to cross the line. What's his time? He's about a tenth slower as his teammate behind him. Johansson crosses the line. Graf, I'm stupid. Yep. Over to you, Moran. I'm making a fool of myself.
Yeah, well, obviously now, then Red Bull and Mercedes don't really have to go all out. Still only Q2. They would be safely through with the laps that they have set now, so only about trying to, well, I guess test out setups or whatnot. But yeah. Klaus and Parachki, I've said it many times, they are the two protagonists of this title fight, but it is important to keep an eye on their teammates Jesper Johansson and Dennis Graf. While they may be in a number 2 position here today, God, it is weird to refer to Johansson and Graf as number 2s, but in this specific situation they are. They'll have to try and do their best to aid their teammates in the title fight today, and yeah, we'll see how they will get along as well, if they could maybe try and pose an upset to either of their teammates' rivals.
Yeah, and I don't think that would be a very happy debrief if something like that happened, usurping their own teammate who's trying to win the title. I don't think that's going to win them any favours back at their teams, but you never know. It's Formula 1. You don't get anything from playing the team game. It's all about what your points tally is at the end of the season and how you performed. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is stuff your teammates, get all the gains you can, and yeah, hopefully they don't sack you and your team boss isn't Christian Horner and Helmut Marko, who has a gun to your head every time you try and defeat Max Verstappen.
Unfortunately for Dennis Graf and Enes Parachki, their team boss is in fact Christian Horner and Helmut Marko. So yeah, Red Bull have had a bit of a second driver situation. They have settled with Klaus and Graf for these last 2 seasons, but you've had a few guys come in and out of that second seat. You had Mohammed Patel in 2017 and 2018 was dropped from Mandic in 2019, and then Mandic was dropped again by Red Bull, and well, then Dennis Graf made a switch from Ferrari to Red Bull, and as a result we have the lineup that we have now. But yeah, Red Bull have kind of had it tough with a second driver in their first few seasons, as Mandic just went across the line there, wasn't able to improve. He is out of Q2. We're going to see his teammate Tost then as he's going to round the final corner. Let's see if he is going to finish up this lap then. Fernando Tost. Yeah, he does not finish up the lap. Behind him, I think, is there's Franco Gamba. The Italian's going to round the final corner. Let's see if he is going to be able to get himself into Q3 with this lap. as he's going to go across the line. Gamba does not improve, and he is out of Q2. So is, well, no, Will Parrish is in 9th, so he is actually through, I believe, at the moment. FG's going to go across the line, up into 6th. Great stuff from Miran Hevji in the Alfa Romeo. He thinks he's still in the Ferrari. Speaking of Ferrari, here is Lamaz Asnishkai, who's going to go across the line. And let's see if he is going to be able to manage an improvement here. He does. And ahead of Jesper Johansson goes Lamaz Asnishkai.
Yeah, not too many improvements there in that session. I wonder if the track's starting to degrade a little bit as cars go round. Just watching Mandic now, probably pitting. Not sure, 8 temps down on Klaus through that sector. Coming through the hotel section again now. Can we see at least one of the Aston Martins into Q3? I don't think he's pitting. Yes, he is. Of course he is. So all the Aston Martins are out for that session.
Yeah, and there is Q2 done and dusted. And Alfred Klaus is your fastest man, and your bottom 5 is Franco Gamba, followed by Fernando Tost, Alex Broster, Thomas Mandic, and then Daniel Wale. So it is a pretty bog standard Q2, I have to be honest. Bar Miran FG there in 6th, I have to say that is a pretty good lap from the man who, once again, is in his final Formula 1 race.
Yeah, and now it's time for the session that truly counts for qualifying 3. Determines the top 10 for the race. So we're just going to see any surprises come out of this next session. That's going to be exciting. I'll leave that with you, Moran.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very exciting indeed. Franco Gamba did get very close to getting into Q3. Either way, Alpine have secured themselves a pretty good qualifying position with Kulasek there in the top 10, and then Franco Gamba just outside there in 11th. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this Q3 is going to play out. Honestly, I don't know if we can predict on who's going to be on pole position in Q3. Both Mercedes and Red Bull do look really fast, but we're going to get to see their true pace and their true potential now as we make our way onto Q3, and it is Alfred Klaus eager to get out and get those pole laps in.
Yeah, trying to get a bank lap in case anything happens later on in the session, or if the track devolves as we saw at the end of the last session. Klaus obviously trying to be the first one on the board. He will be the first one on the board. I don't know why I said that, but he will be. So down the straight he goes, probably trying to keep those tyres to an optimal temperature into this this rather bizarre chicane. I felt like it was designed to try and encourage racing, but it just feels like there's only one line to go through there, and that is it's too tight and narrow for 2 cars to go side by side through there without there being some form of contact. So in case you don't know, I really hate Herman Tilk. So so into the final sector Klaus is going to enter now, which is under the hotel, of course. Let's just see what's going to happen now then. So we've got just under 7 minutes left of qualifying. So that's going to decide the final order for this race. And obviously with the 2 championship protagonists out on track now, trying to decide who is going to win this title. Obviously, Klaus, with the job to do today, to try and overhaul that 17-point lead of Pirachki, and it's going through this first section now. Everything's going all right for him. To be honest, it's going to go downhill towards the hairpin. Heavy on the brakes, heavy braking zone. He wants to try and sweep through this corner, try and get onto the apex and get onto the throttle very early, down onto the straightaway. He's going to be aided by the DRS, a drag reduction system, down towards this chicane that I was ranting about earlier, which is another heavy braking point. Wanted to be braking about 100 meters away, slams the brakes on, turns in now. Misses that inside apex slightly, but if you do see there's those little orange sausage curves which you do not want to hit, and into the second DRS zone of the lap, and I believe that is the last one, down towards the newly installed hairpin. Slight braking, but you can take quite a lot of speed through the corner, and there's multiple lines you can take through this corner to maximize your lap time and your speed down towards this next hotel section. Hitting the apex here, a lot more sweeping this year, a lot faster. doesn't really use much of the track there going in. I wonder if there's a bit of marbles on the outside that they've picked up on. Back now, round in towards the final corner. I'm just going to see what lap time it is for Klaus. He's going to be setting the first lap on the board. He's going to cross the line now, and it's a 1 minute 29.4, and his teammate's right behind him on a lap now.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that lap time will stack up to the rest. Luca Farina's only going to 10 slower. I'm not sure if that's... I was going to say, it didn't seem like the greatest of laps from Alfred Klaus, but Jesper Johansson isn't too far off him. Either way, you can see Wojtek Kulasek has gone past both Klaus and Johansson, so... yeah, not a bad lap at all from Wojtek Kulasek, or it could just be the fact that Klaus and Johansson haven't had the greatest of opening laps. So, well, we'll get our questions answered when Parashi comes across the line. I'll just have to say that.
Yeah, I think they were doing 1 minute 28s in Q2, so 1 minute 29s, like mid 129 seems a bit slow right now. I think it will be 128s that we're going to be looking out for. But no one seems to be going that fast, to be honest. Evchi in P6. The field is spread very close right now. Only 3 tenths in it from P1 to P7 right now. Just going to see a few cars crossing the line. I think there's a few cars just about to enter the final sector. But we're just watching now with Parrish coming towards the first hairpin. It's a 15.6 in the first sector. Around the corner now. So watching Klaus. I don't know if Klaus is pitting. He's got his teammate behind him. I think Klaus is going to be in this lap, yeah. So the lifespan of those tyres, not worth doing another lap on them. He's going to come in for a new set of soft tyres. As Graf crosses the line now, goes P3.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it just might be the overall pace. If so, you can see Wojtek Kulasek is absolutely on it today. 129.365. That Alpine is on fire.
Yeah, that Alpine is on fire. I think there's a few cars just crossing the line now. See if they're going to place. McIntyre goes P8, and Parichki goes provisional pole by just under a tenth of a second.
And that's a bit of a bleak sight for Klaus and Red Bull, isn't it? It certainly is.
Yeah, it certainly is. When the field's spread by half a second and you're asking a driver to get another 2 tenths on your rival, that seems like a tall order to try and fulfill. So that is your first round of qualifying laps done with Parachki on pole, and I think that was Evchi, or I don't know if that was Parish in front. I think it was Parish that just set another lap time to go P6.
It was Evchi who went up into 7th. It's a bit interesting. You got the Alfa Romeo out qualifying the 2 Ferraris.
Jesus Christ, yeah. So the Ferrari's really struggling as well. Obviously, we had the loss of Shuto for McLaren in Q1, so you've got the 2 Ferraris in Q3 and only 1 McLaren in Q3. So obviously you think Ferrari would want to capitalise on that, try and keep that P3 of theirs in the title race, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the way for now as Graf goes up into P3.
Ooh. That is a good lap from Dennis Graf. Wojtek Kulasek is going to go across the line. The Czech man does not improve, but it's not looking good for Alfred Klaus as he is 4th at the moment. His teammate and his rival is ahead of him at the moment. Klaus, not really a qualifying specialist compared to Enis Parachki. You can see, look at this, you've got a Red Bull ahead of Enis Parachki. I think that is in fact Alfred Klaus. Yes, it is. So the 2 of them very, very close on track here. And, well, certainly this is maybe, this could maybe generate a bit of drama.
Yeah, see what happens down into this hairpin. Bit of a DRS train that's going to happen here because of that McLaren in front of them. Just see what's going to happen here then. Onto the straight, DRS wide open. So we've got McIntyre there giving Klaus the toe down the straight, who in turn, as my throat dies, is giving Parachki the toe. I need to learn English. Yeah. And gonna see now DRS wide open again. 2 tenths down on Parachki. I said that he's got to try and find 2 tenths, and after sector 1 or sector, yeah, that is sector 1 finishing there. 2 tenths down already, so he's got to try and find 4 tenths on his personal best over these final few corners, which isn't the easiest job in the world, considering there isn't really much places where you can gain time, probably apart from that hairpin, if you can try and nail that hairpin, which was at the end of sector 1. as now Klaus is going to come around into this final section, and he's probably going to pit. No, he's not. I don't know why I said he was going to pit. I just thought he probably would. But we're going to see now the final lap times for session. McIntyre crosses the line, improves slightly. Klaus doesn't improve, and Parachki doesn't improve. So that's pretty much our order for that race, for that title decider. That's the order it's going to be. Parachki 1-0.
Still a few cars left across the line. We could have potential shaking up of the order. Here's Lamas as Nishka across the line. The Serbian does not improve. Next up is Will Parrish in the Alpha Tauri. Parrish doesn't improve. FG comes in. It is a brilliant effort from Mimir and FG so far, as we're looking at Dennis Groff in second. And I have to say, good qualifying for Dennis Groff as well. But we'll see if he can go one further and maybe try and even dethrone Enis Parashki here, as he now rounds turn 13 now into turn number 14, and he's going to make his way down the last two corners. We'll see if he is going to finish this lap up. So there's obviously always that chance that he might just peel into the pit lane, and he does so. He does come in to the pits. Behind him, Luca Farina, the Italian in fifth, comes in. And then behind him is Wojtek Kulasek, who comes in after a brilliant effort as well in third. Jesper Johansson could try and make it one worse for Red Bull as he's going to round the final corner. Let's see if Johansson is going to be able to improve on this lap as he's going to go across the line. No improvement for Jesper Johansson, and it is P6 for him, but it is going to be his teammate who is going to claim pole position here for the final round. Enis Parachki is on pole here at the Yas Marina circuit. And as you said, Jensen, 1-0 to Enis Parachki.
Yes, indeed. And obviously, front of the grid. I'm going to do my Will Buxton here. You want to be at the front of the grid because the 19 other cars are behind you. And that means you're going to be scoring more points. So that means he wins the title. My name's Will Buxton. Welcome to ACOC. So, yeah. That's interesting, to be honest, because we saw Parachki was quite far down the order in the first qualifying session. I think he wasn't quite on top of his game, but to come back and finish on pole, and convincingly on pole, and your championship rival down in P4, so he's not really going to be a threat into turn one unless he decides to be a bowling ball. That's got to be great for Parachki and great for Mercedes, who still haven't actually decided the championship in the constructors yet. So this constructors title is still open to be won by Red Bull. Probably not going to happen. Probably about as much chance of that happening as Klaus winning the title now. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next half hour or so.
Yeah, it's going to be Klaus with a lot to do if he's going to want to win that title today. Obviously, Parachki, following the Lusail Grand Prix, is 17 points clear of Klaus. So there's a huge advantage towards Enis Parachki right now. And if Klaus wants to catch up to Enis in the race lead, well, he's going to have to clear an Alpine and then his teammate as well. So it certainly is going to be, as you said, a tall order for him. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen here today. It is advantage Enis Parachki, but Abu Dhabi might just turn out to be a pretty unpredictable race. It was in Formula 2. We did have a lot of drama at the start. So I wonder if we might see anything of the likes in Formula 1. Either way, yeah, we'll just have to see how this start is going to play out. Parachki, as long as he finishes on the podium, I'd say he's champion.
Yeah, I think that's true anyway. I believe if he finishes on the podium, that's more than enough if my maths is correct. I think even if he just finishes, I'm trying to do it in my head. I think P6 would be enough for him to win the title. Anything lower than P6, and that gives Klaus a chance. But based off of countback, Parachki would win if he finishes P6 or higher. So it's his race to lose now. It's his title to lose over the next 33 laps.
Yeah, as we are now here, the grid is set for one final time in Formula 1. And before we get underway with the title decider here at Abu Dhabi, it's time to go through the starting grid then for Lights Out for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And it is Enis Parachki, probably the most crucial pole of his career so far. He starts P1 here at the Yas Marina circuit, and accompanying him on the front row, it is the Red Bull but not the man we were expecting. It's his teammate Dennis Graf lining up in second. Third, it's a brilliant qualifying for Wojtek Kulasek, and accompanying him on the second row, it is the other protagonist in this championship, Alfred Klaus, starting P4. Luca Farina starts 5th, with Jesper Johansson behind him, a lowly qualifying for the Swede as he starts in P6. Then it's Will Parrish in 7th, with Miran Evji, a brilliant qualifying for the man in Alfa Romeo as well, in 8th, as Lewis McIntyre takes 9th, with Laban Zasnishkai rounding out the top 10.
Gamba in P11, obviously not doing well in qualifying compared to his teammate who was up in P3. P12 is Tost, 13th is Broster, 14th is Mandic, 15th Whale, 16th is Shuto down the order and not really helping out his team in his constructors fight. Arnold in his last race, I think that's not wrong. That's Arnold in P17, Adelberg in P18, and you've got the two Hasses rounding off the grid on the back row, Fraser and Victor Albon. They're lining up P19 and P20, and going to see the race starting shortly.
Yeah, as we're going to get on their way then, storylines are about to be written here around the Yas Marina circuit. Parachki on pole, Klaus in 4th, 33 laps await us. And we're underway here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's a good getaway for Dennis Graf into turn number 1. He might immediately take the lead as we head down into the first corner. Graf is there on the inside line. Parachki on the outside. Ooh. There's a spin. That's Farina. It looks like, and Johansson's involved as well. Farina, I think, is out. Is Johansson facing the wrong way? Yes, he is. Disaster for Jesper Johansson, who's having an abysmal end to the season. Klaus is up into 4th. Here comes Kulasek on the Graf into turn 5. He's there on the outside line trying to get the German. They'll be wheel to wheel, I believe, heading down the back straight now, and the Czech man is gonna throw an absolute spanner in the works for Dennis Graf and Red Bull, as he has gotten ahead on track momentarily, but Graf is gonna get up and alongside him now, down into turn 6 we go, and into turn 7. Graf is there on the inside line, jumps over the curb though. That's going to give Kulasek the momentum to try and get back onto the German. Great battle here for second place, as this is going to allow Enis Parashki to absolutely pull away. Alfred Klaus is stuck here. He's boxed in between the two as Kulasek is there on the inside. Graf runs wide, and it's going to be Wojtek Kulasek into second.
Yeah, and I'm just going to notice that Farina is out of the race, which could be crucial in that title fight. I was watching Graf now, Kulasek up into P2, and that Red Bull in the way of his teammate Klaus in this title race. Parachki is 1 second down the road now, and that is going to be crucial in this title race, and Klaus is going to be wanting his teammates to get out of the way. He's going to be screaming on that team radio as they're rounding now the final corner. Start lap 2. Parachki leading the race now by 1.5 seconds nearly. It's been a dream start for him, and I think that's probably going to be nearly enough for him to win the title unless something happens over the next 32 laps. And Graf's still in the way of Klaus, as Kulasek still holding on to that P2 position. Also, what's crucial in this title race, McLaren now have the chance to take P3 away from Ferrari. Now Ferrari are only running that one car. Shuto down in P14, so obviously not capitalising on it yet. McIntyre up in P8. But Kulasek is actually pulling away from the Red Bulls there.
That is very, very interesting indeed. But yeah, Mercedes are at a pretty big disadvantage as well. Jesper Johansson down in 19th. This is not how I wanted the season finale to go. Here's Josef Fredrik Schuto down the inside of Daniel Wale. He's going to try and make up a few positions following his poor qualifying effort. He's going to get a good run out of turn 7 to try and go up and alongside the Chinese man and the Alfa Romeo, as the two are going to be wheel to wheel now, heading down the back straight down the run into turn number 9. Schuto's going to try to be there on the outside line, but it is the less favourable line as well, as Schuto, I think, gets forced wide by Wale, and as a result, it's going to be the Alfa Romeo ahead of the McLaren.
Yes, and that's going to be interesting as well. Shuto still down in P14 there, and that gap to still be managed by Parachki at the front of the race. Lots of squabbling for position going on here, and I think I probably have to take my words back and say this track is quite exciting for the racing that's going on right now. Thank you, Herman Till. God bless you. And down towards turn 1, we're watching Kulasek, fastest up the race so far for him. Up the hill we go now. Klaus is still stuck behind his teammate, and he is 2.5 seconds down the road from Parachki, his championship rival. So unless something happens here, and that's Kulasek going wide.
He's ran wide there into turn 5. Groff is going to try and sneak through as best as possible, but he's not got the run. No DRS yet, obviously, for Dennis Groff in the first DRS zone, but he's going to use that slipstream to go alongside Wojtek Kulasek. Now into turn 6 we go. He's there on the outside line. He's going to swing around the outside into turn 7, though he's going to jump over the curb. Is that going to allow Kulasek to retaliate onto the German? We'll just have to wait to see. DRS engaged for Wojtek Kulasek. He's there on the outside line. Groff blocks him off. He's going to go to the inside. He swerves to the outside again, but he's going to go to the inside for one final time into turn number 9, and Groff runs wide. Kulasek is back up in the second. Here's Klaus again. Groff has run very, very wide indeed. Miran FG's there in 5th, but Alfred Klaus goes up into 3rd.
And that was some interesting racing, some interesting driving there from Graf, who's gone off the track and got dirt all over his tyres. It's allowed Evchi in the Alfa Romeo to catch back up. Kulasek up into P2 now. Klaus up into P3 and past his teammate, and is now open to go and pursue Kulasek. Kulasek, during that squabble, Perichki is 2 seconds down the road. I think that's 3 seconds now, if I saw that correctly. Up onto lap 4 now, around 10% of the way into this race. See anything else going to happen. And I think Graf is going to be in hot pursuit of his teammate. I wonder if there's no team orders now down at Red Bull.
Yeah, definitely not. Klaus is just going to try and push as best as possible, but Wojtek Kulasek is the man who's holding him up at the moment. You can see, as you said, 2.2 seconds down the road to Parachki. And the Red Bulls might actually face pressure from Miran FG in the Alfa Romeo. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but it doesn't seem too far-fetched. But Klaus is just going to have to hope to try and close up to Wojtek Kulasek, but Wojtek is not on bad pace. You can see he's closed down 4/10 to Enis Parachki.
Yes, he has. Kulasek on fire this weekend, which is absolutely mental to think about in the Alpine, which I would say is probably upper midfield material, or just average midfield material, up in P2 now, and actually gaining on Parachki, to watching Adelberg and Shuto going toe-to-toe for P14 still. Not too much going on right now anywhere else, just watching this fight. As Klaus now has Graf on his tail as well. A little train forming here, as you see. Round the final corner, we're going now to start the 5th lap of this race. Nothing to report on really. I think Parachki has pulled away a little bit on Kulasek, but we're just going to have to monitor that situation as Graf sets the fastest lap of the race so far.
That's actually interesting. Dennis Groff with the fast lap of the race. I think the Red Bulls might go toe-to-toe again if this keeps up. And Alfred Klaus certainly won't be too happy about this. But Dennis Groff is looking rather close to his teammate. Into turn number 5 we go. Has he found an opportunity there on the inside? Looked to me like Klaus maybe left a bit of space, but no, Groff can't quite get past just yet. And you can see Klaus doesn't have DRS down the start-finish, or this back straight. That's going to allow Dennis Groff to close in a bit onto his teammate. He won't be able to try anything into turn 6. But yeah, this is not looking good for Alfred Klaus, but it's looking just better and better for Enis Parachki as the laps go by.
Yes, and we're just going to have to watch that situation unfold. DRS train's starting to form a little bit here. And I think that's... I think Klaus was out of DRS range there. Kulasek, wasn't he, for a second? Did see the DRS open on Klaus. Just going to have to watch this situation now as Graf now chasing down his teammate on this lap. And I still don't think there's any team orders coming to play at Red Bull. Red Bull looking for that title and that Constructors title. They could well and truly actually take the Constructors title depending on results elsewhere now that Johansson is down the order. But other than that, it seems still quite an outside chance that it happens. Kulasek doing well up in P2 in the Alpine. Evchi holding off the AlphaTauri behind him. So doing very well this race so far, the midfield gang.
Speaking of the AlphaTauri behind me on FG, he's actually just had the fast lap of the race, Will Parrish. So Parrish not on bad pace at all. It does seem to be quite the level playing field here today. You've got some very interesting performers, as here is Thomas Mandic. He's lining up Alex Broster into turn number 5. He's going to go to the inside line of Broster now, as the two are going to be side by side. No, not quite. It seems like Broster got the exit on that outside line, and Mandic, as a result, is going to have to stay behind. Daniel Wale behind could try something. As we're going to go further up, here's Parrish versus FG. And FG's going to jump over the curb. Parrish is going to get blocked a bit, but he's still going to get a better exit compared to Mir and FG. The two are going to be side by side as the American Will Parrish is going to have the DRS now. Labas Zasnishka behind is going to try to get involved, but Parrish round the outside is going to try to seal the deal now. Zasnishka in the background runs very wide, but Will Parrish round the outside will get it done on Mir and FG.
Yes, well done, of course. Sasukai running off the track again, like we saw Graf doing a few laps ago, but didn't get too punished for it. Still in P7, as McIntyre still in P8, as Klaus now on the back of Kulisek still. Wondering if he's going to get a bit of DRS assistance here now. He's a little bit closer, trying to make that move down towards the chicane just before the start of Sector 2. Nothing too much going on here, to be honest. I wonder what's going to happen with the tyre situation. Of course, tyre degradation. See what happens. Because it's still very, very hot here in the UAE. At times like this, I thought Graf was going to go straight into the back of Klaus there for some reason. I just thought that was going to be a tactical takedown maneuver or something. But now you can see that DRS wide open. But Klaus is falling behind a little bit again of Kulisek. Still too far behind to think of a move, as Graf still in the mirrors of his teammates. I'm still putting pressure on. Graf taking a very sharp line through that corner, as Whale now making a move on Mandic down the inside, and there's a bit of contact there, I think.
Yeah, there is contact between Mandic and Wale, and Josef Fredrik Schuto's going to try and take full advantage of this, as he's going to try and let him move on the inside line. Mandic doesn't seem to bother. He's going to go to the inside of Alex Broster now. Into turn 9 we go. Broster is going to run wide, and as a result, Tomas Mandic is going to slip up into 11th, and Broster has gone way off the track. Wale is up into 12th.
Yeah, that's interesting racing right there, as Adelberg now trying to make her move. Probably not going to stick in this section. Not very many overtaking spots in this final sector. But that train continues to grow as drivers form DRS trains behind one another. And Kulisek still leading that little train there, as Parrish sets the fastest lap of 1 minute 31.4. Just going to see now. Can anything happen? I don't think the slipstream from the DRS is strong enough to promote overtaking here. Just seeing Gamba now. Gamba up into P9 after starting. I think it was P11, I believe. It was.
I think it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, P11. Yeah. So some progress there from the other Alpine. So good day for Alpine so far. And now Gamba's going to be lining up a move on McIntyre down towards the chicane, and he pulls out to the right. Nearly goes off the track there. Has to correct a bit, but I don't think he's going to make a move if he's too far behind to try and think of it sending it down the inside. As you can see, the other McLaren making a move on the Williams. Nothing going to happen there. As I think Graf now going to try and make a move around the outside of his teammate, and he's run wide again.
Oh, he's run very wide indeed. That's going to allow Will Parrish in the Alpha Tauri. He gets a bit of a slide on the exit, but that's going to allow the Red Bull sister car to close up, and Dennis Graf cannot be doing things like that.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Graf again going off the circuit. It's going to be destroying those tyres because not a lot of grip out there and quite a bit of debris, just naturally occurring debris that forms out there. Crossing the line now. Klaus still in pursuit of Kulisek. It's kind of reminding me, if you think back to 2010 with Fernando Alonso and Petrov. Coincidentally, Petrov was driving a Renault, and Renault DNA is coursing through the Alpine, so it's kind of like a reverse situation. We have a Ferrari of Alonso trying to get past the Renault of Petrov, and now the roles have switched. It's a Red Bull trying to get past an Alpine, a Renault. Yeah, not great at explaining stuff, but yeah, you have that. And look at the train; it's a truly train.
I was about to mention it. Actually, it's very similar to the 2010. As here's Graf. He's going to go down the inside of his teammate Alfred Klaus, and Graf is there on the outside. Klaus jumps off the curb. I think there might have been contact, but Groff is going to get up to third, and this is disaster. There's Will Parrish. He's going to be up and alongside the Red Bull senior car of Alfred Klaus. Parrish is there on the outside line, but that's going to be the less favorable line. Klaus should be able to hold this one off, and Parrish does run wide. It's going to be Klaus who is going to shuffle down to fourth. He's going to try and have a look at his teammate, but Groff is up into third.
Yeah, and that would have been a double whammy for Klaus if he got
passed by teammates. There's contact! And Klaus and Groff make contact. Alfred Klaus has tagged the back of his teammate. And surely that should decide the championship. Alfred Klaus going way down the order. And that should definitely decide the championship. Oh my goodness! Alfred Klaus lets it all slip on lap 9 out of 33. He's tagged the back of his teammate. Absolute drama.
Yeah, and I think we're just going to get a replay of this now. And that is just, he's just lost his head, hasn't he? I think he's just lost his head being overtaken by his teammate. We're just going to see what happens now. Oh, and it's Graf that makes a mistake. And Klaus just doesn't respond to it and just tries to take his normal line, and he's clipped the rear right axle of his teammate and he's lost him. And I think that's it. I think that's the title over.
Well, yeah, I think that is it largely over. I think that might just be Enes Parachki, champion of 2021, but we do not want to say that it is over until it is properly over in the ACOC. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Here's FG down the inside of Dennis Groff then, as Will Parrish has gone up into the podium. FG's going to try to get the other Red Bull that's remaining. As they're going to go side by side, Groff is going to have the DRS, and FG's unfortunately not going to be able to get the German for fourth now.
Yeah, it sure is a race in the midfield, isn't it? Because if FG was up onto the podium, you had an Alpine and an Alfa Romeo on the podium. I don't think that's ever happened before in real life. I can't remember the last time that it was like properly like a midfield podium. On an F1 podium. I honestly can't think of a time of that happening, with FG now up into P5, so obviously overperforming in that Alfa Romeo, as Klaus now just down in P17 and not looking like he's going anywhere anytime soon. And you can see the skid marks of where he lost it, and that's going to be haunting him now forever, of what might have been. Yeah, so as we were mentioning, FG still trying to scrap away with the Red Bull, but obviously the Red Bull with superior machinery can pull away on the straights. Pass back over to you, Ron.
Yeah, and I mean, one man who'll be absolutely elated with this surely is the guy who's leading away at the moment, Enes Parachki, because now what he just has to do is just bring it home, just drive as calmly and cleanly as you can, and just make sure that you bring it home in one piece, and then as a result he will be crowned a two-time champion. But yeah, Red Bull have properly thrown it away, as here is tossed and Monday goes to Aston Martin's going at it. FG's going to go onto the inside line of Dennis Groff now into turn 6. He's having a look on the German, but the two former teammates do not go into a proper battle.
Yep, as you can see now, none of them have the DRS. I think FG probably slammed the brakes a little bit, but it's going to allow these cars behind to get back at them. FG now, and Graf is going to run wide again. And has Graf lost 2 positions there? No, he hasn't. He's lucky to get away with that. As FG now up into P4. It's a great day for FG. Great performance here this weekend. It's going to see Gamba now trying to make a move. Gamba up into P7 now. Excellent drive from him so far. Adelberg P13. Just going to see now up to the front if Graf can salvage anything from this. So that's both the top teams now missing one of their drivers. So we had Parachki losing his teammate Johansson at the start of the race, and now Graf losing Klaus, who was in a championship fight. Both to spins, both to contact, and I wonder if that's going to be some issue in a debrief. The two Red Bulls coming together and deciding the title pretty much in Parachki's favour, unless something drastic happens over the next 21 laps.
Yeah, I'll just have to wait and see. Zasnishkai, though, is being lined up by Franco Gamba. The two might just be wheel to wheel, but yeah, Zasnishkai on the outside line is going to be able to keep it going. And he might just try and line up a move on Dennis Groff there in 5th. He is going to line up a move on Groff now, as the two are going to be wheel to wheel. Groff's going to jump over the curb. Zasnishkai tries his best to try and find an opening. Gamba in the background might just make it 3 wide, but Zasnishkai is going to get ahead before the corner, I even think. As we head into turn number 9 now, Laban Zasnishkai is there on the outside line. He's going to run a bit wide, so does Gamba. Both of them go off the track, and Dennis Groff, as a result, will keep 5th.
Yeah, there seems to be some sort of like magnet on the edge of that track there, because they keep running wide there. It's very bizarre. McIntyre up into P7, and I think it's these two now. No, Shuto's up into P10, so it's now McIntyre and Shuto trying to score points for Ferrari. Obviously, Farina now out of the race, so only one Ferrari running, trying to get that P3 in the title. Going to be a very tall ask for him. As just going to see now all the cars crossing the line, down onto the first corner. 13 laps so far here. Still quite a way to go. But I think the main result is already decided at this point, as we head down towards the turn 5 hairpin.
Yeah, it's certainly been a very, very dramatic first 13 laps of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. That teammate collision. You have to feel for Alfred Klaus, don't you? I mean, in such a race where all the eyes and all the pressure is on you, he just kind of cracks under pressure, and also breaks the golden rule of motor racing, which is to never crash into your teammates. So it certainly is. He's going to have his head in his hands, surely.
Yes, he definitely is. I was just going to watch now this DRS train down towards the second hairpin, the new one that was installed for this year. Wally now trying to get past Shuto. Shuto in the top 10 at this point now.
Yeah, Daniel Wale would definitely like to join his teammate Miran Evji in the top 10. We'll see if he is going to be able to do that, as he is on the back of Josef Fredrik Schutt. I think he was momentarily in that top 10, as we're going to see the battle for P2 between the two most unlikely people to battle for P2, it feels like. It's Will Parrish versus Wojtek Kulasek for second in this race.
Yes, and that is a very unlikely battle to be seen there. Very interesting. We'll see what happens further on in the race. Yeah, truly the backmarkers race today.
It truly is. As here, Schuto, he's going to go wheel to wheel with Fernando Tost through the first couple of corners. Tost is going to hold ahead through turn 2. Wallace trying to follow the battle behind, but he's going to come under pressure from Tomas Mandic into turn number 5. Schuto launches it to the inside of Tost. Now into turn number 9. Tost is going to keep himself ahead of the Slovakian, though, and this is going to bring Daniel Waller closer. We look at the Ferrari now of Labas Zasnishkai side by side with Dennis Groff. He's going to go to the outside and through the inside. He's going to try and get it done. He's going to get a poor exit as he jumps over the curb. That's going to allow Dennis Groff to retaliate onto the Serbian as the two go wheel to wheel. Groff has the advantage at the DRS. Is that going to allow him to get it done before the corners? We head down to turn number 9. He's going to be on the outside line. That's the less variable outside line. Zasnishkai is going to try and keep it wheel to wheel, but Dennis Groff, I think, might just get this one done on the outside. No, not quite. As we head down into turn number 12, they're wheel to wheel as Zasnishkai is there on the outside. Now into turn 13, Labas Zasnishkai is there on the inside trying to keep it on, but Groff is hanging on to this battle. Great stuff between the Red Bull and the Ferrari as we make our way down to turn number 15. Now Zasnishkai is there on the outside line into the final corner. Then that should be the nail in the coffin for Labas Zasnishkai, and it is as he gets up into P5. Brilliant battle as it's Labas Zasnishkai claims 5th.
Yeah, and you can see all these cars now, of course. Look at that train all the way back down the order. I wonder what's happened to Klaus. Klaus has seemingly dropped off of Albon. Klaus was down in P17 and about 1 second off. Klaus is now 11 seconds off of P16. So I'm not too sure what's happened there, whether he's come in or something. We've missed that. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought he would have stopped. But now Gamba up into P8. As you can see, the teammate Adelberg up into P11. Lots going on here. Massive DRS train. As we're just going to see what happens now. According to his teammate now, Will Parrish is going to have the DRS down the straight. I'm just going to see what happens here. It's going to cut back to Fraser and Klaus. Klaus and Fraser going wheel to wheel. And I thought that was a car about to flip over there. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's Daniel Waller and Tomas Mandic going at it. Waller being overtaken by Mandic for 12th, and Alex Broster is gonna try to drop him down a further position as he's there on the outside, but he's gonna get offline. I think maybe it is just the lack of grip on that outside line. As here's Alfred Klaus trying to overtake Daniel Fraser. Fraser's there on the outside. He is going to hold him off. Klaus isn't able to do anything here, and Daniel Fraser is going to hold him off. This is a sight to see.
Yeah, I wonder what's really happened to Klaus. I think Klaus's head is just gone. He's just completely demotivated after that incident earlier on, and I think that's probably just going to be the end of his race. I wonder if he also sustained a little bit of damage in that impact. I'm not sure, to be honest, but I'm going to cut back to the front now as McIntyre now looking to pressurise Graf, who has lost Sasnishkai down the field, a full second away into the hairpin. So that's going to be fairly interesting to watch later on.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be. As here is Will Parrish then to the inside of Wojtek Kulasek. He's going to go into turn 6. The two midfielders are going to fight it out for second place. Kulasek chasing down his second podium of the season. Parrish chasing down his first, as the two are going to be side by side. Parrish is there on the outside line. He's got a good run, and with the DRS, he gets it done before the corner surely. As we head into turn number 9, he runs slightly wide. Though, is that going to give Kulasek the advantage to try and get back on the American? No, it isn't, as Will Parrish goes up into second. And what a way. Oh, that is Fernando Toss, who just interrupts me there by going wide. That's going to give McIntyre the 8th position.
Yes, as they're going to be looking for their first podium of the season. Will Parrish not finishing higher than 4 this season, I believe. So that'll be a very good result for him. Shuto now up, just looking behind Toss, trying to make a move. Obviously, this Constructors' Championship is not over, as at the back of the field, we're going to see Johansson and Klaus going for it. Going to be very interesting. Two cars well out of position. See if they can put a show on for us.
Yeah, we'll see. This is a very, very interesting battle. Albeit maybe not in the positions they were hoping for. As Shuto is chasing down Tost now into P9. Will they be able to get up there as we head into turn 5? Shuto will stay behind for the time being, and he's going to try and get a run on him down this back straight. But yeah, I have to say, properly good comeback drive from Will Parrish. Considering his 4 last races, he's not finished 3 of them. He's had horrible luck, and I have to say, this would be a brilliant end to the season for Will Parrish to finish second and grab his AlphaTauri's, or grab his first podium and AlphaTauri's second in the season.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if we can watch this battle now, as Gamba now up into P6 and Graf goes wide again and loses 2 positions, and it's all falling apart for Red Bull Racing today. There's a slight optimistic chance that they could win the Constructors, but right now, it just isn't going to plan at all for them.
Yeah, here's Jesper Johansson, who, after that lap 1 accident, has, well, this certainly just hasn't been his race, but he's actually got Alfred Klaus done there on the outside line.
Yes, and that's interesting. Now Klaus falls to the back of the grid, and he's somehow 3 seconds now off the Haas of Fraser. So the Haas has gone much further ahead and much further down the road than you would have expected him to, compared to the fact that he's got a Red Bull and a Mercedes behind him. So I wonder if those early collisions have caused some kind of motivation issue within those drivers. Toss now behind Graf. Graf looking like he's going to be slipping down the order as Shuto makes a move down the inside. I wonder if he's going to have DRS now up towards the top. Down towards the chicane. I think he's too far back now to think about it. I think he got a very poor exit because he tried to make a move stick that wasn't on. But now down the inside, Adelberg, the other AlphaTauri.
Yeah, he could definitely try something here. Maybe the switchback even. Adelberg is going to try and get himself up to the points here, as he's going to have the DRS onto Josef Frederik Schuto. The second AlphaTauri then's going to get it done before the corner. Mandic is there in the background trying to get something here. Schuto's there on the inside. Both Adelberg and Mandic in the background run wide, but Adelberg still going to keep it wheel to wheel with Josef Frederik Schuto. Then heading out of turn number 9, Schuto does defend from the Swiss man.
Yeah, and I think that's all over for that battle just for now. But Adelberg will be looking to get back into the points positions, briefly ahead there with the DRS, and then runs wide with it. As you can see, Turtle's PC is rubbish. So Adelberg now in P11, whilst his teammate is challenging, or is in P2, I should say. And Parrish has pulled down the road a little bit from Kulsek. If you look at the gap there, 1.5 seconds down the road from Kulsek. FG is slowly gaining on Kulsek as well. That gap was 5.8 a few laps ago. It's now 4.9. I think the small battle that was going on between the two drivers has caused FG to come a bit closer. As Gamba now up into P6 after starting P11. I don't know what it is about the Alpines today, but they've truly come alive. As you can see, Toss now with the DRS against the Red Bull, which doesn't have the DRS, but the DRS on Toss slammed up. I wonder if he's hit the brakes there or something. Into the chicane we go. Toss with the outside line. And we'll see what's going to happen here. And he gets P8 away from Graf. It's all falling apart for Red Bull Racing today. What's going on?
Yeah, it's just that I think it just demotivated them so much, that accident. Klaus is nowhere. Graf's tires seem to be absolutely finished. And he might have some damage as well. Klaus 100% has damage after that slam into the barrier. And well, yeah, there's just no pace at all. I mean, Graf, he's driving like he's completely defeated at the moment.
Yeah, and Klaus is 4 seconds now off Johansson in the back of the field. You would have thought that he would have been trying to fight it, but I just think Klaus is just content with driving around the back of the field now, as we've seen Victor Albon and Wally round the final corner. On to lap 21, I believe, 20. Yep, lap 20 we are. Nothing really going on here. His teammate FG still up in P4, holding about a 5-second gap from P3. Shuto now still behind Tost. Got that Red Bull leading the trade, and that Red Bull's not going to have any DRS. He's already fallen a few seconds down the road from those cars in front. You can see that gap there. Definitely apparent there. Tost is going to have the DRS. Oh, no, he doesn't. The Red Bull has a DRS. That's very interesting. I think Tost must have got past him just before the detection zone. And now Tost has shot himself in the foot, because here comes Shuto down the outside of Tost. And I wonder if he's going to have that inside the line. Yes, he is. And Shuto is going to benefit from that DRS as well. Down the straight. I say. And he doesn't open it. So, yeah. Interesting battle going on right now. As Toss now round the outside. Is he going to be able to make it stick? No, he runs wide like we've seen so many people do today. And now Adelberg is straight there trying to get some points today. And he's up into P10 round the outside. And there we have it. Went off the track a little bit.
Yeah, good stuff from Eric Adelberg. Took the opportunity perfectly and went up into P10. That's what you love to see. From the 2020 Formula 2 champion. As we go a bit further up, we're going to look at Franco Gamba in this battle for P5. It's Zasnishkai, Gamba and McIntyre, 3 different teams fighting for 5th position. This is sure to get interesting.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting now. Better racing than I thought it was going to be at this circuit. So obviously the changes doing their part, especially that hairpin, the sweeping hairpin in Sector 2, really providing us some great action with cars running wide all the time. Gamba now on the back of the Ferrari, going to cut to Arnold now, trying to make a move down the inside of Mandic. As I burp, Jesus Christ, I apologise for that. Arnold now falls back as Shuto trying to make a move now down the outside of Graf. Trying to make it stick. Graf is just falling down the order. It's just a free fall now for the Red Bull. It's around the outside. Goes Shuto. And I think he's made that move stick. It's going to not benefit from that DRS, because now Graf has that DRS. But now Graf breaks and loses the DRS, but he's still going to be contending for P8. Around the outside goes Shuto, and Shuto runs off the track, and Graf goes up into P8 as Gamba has made a move on the Ferrari for P5. That's very interesting. The Alpines looking very feisty today, as the Red Bulls are just plummeting down the order. It's a free fall for Red Bull, and it's not a great way to end the season for them. As you can see now, the Alpine in front of Sajnikai.
Yeah, good battle there. It's Gamba up into 5th then. Big points for Alpine today. P2 and P5. It's going to be a properly great day in the office for them.
Yes, it is really going to be a great day in the office for him. Paris really, compared to Pirachki, who had not really mentioned much in this race, haven't really seen him this race, just been doing his own thing at the front of the field. As you're going to see Shuto now trying to get past Graf into the hairpin. That DRS detection, let's see what's happened here. But I think Shuto's got it fully done in the hairpin. That's an excellent move from Shuto. But he's going to be instantly attacked again by Graf, but who slams the brakes on again and loses that DRS. Reopens it, but he's not really using it very efficiently, as I think Shuto gets the move fully done. But something's happened up here. Sajnikai has been a collision.
It's been a crash. That's Fernando Tost, and the Polish man is out. What's happened here?
I know I saw that there was a McLaren going very slowly into the corner. I wonder if there's been a bit of contact here between McIntyre and Sajnikai. Yeah,
and there has been. That's naughty from Lewis.
Yeah.
And this is... Oh dear. Oh, Zasnishka, you cannot do that. And I think he's just reversed, unsighted into the path of Fernando Tost. It's a dangerous re-entry from Lama Zasnishka, but ultimately it falls down to Lewis McIntyre. Lots of upsets in the title fight today. That's McLaren and Ferrari who are separated on 1 point as the drivers from the two teams collide.
Yeah, and that basically demotes Ferrari outside the points. So Ferrari, no matter how much you can penalise the two McLarens there, well, McIntyre obviously, because he's the one that caused the incident, it is McLaren that is ahead in the constructors as it stands. So even if you penalise McIntyre for that, it's as Tost retires at the top. As much as you penalise McLaren for that, they're still going to be P3 no matter what, unless Sajnikai can pull off 4 overtakes, I believe. 3 overtakes in the next 10 laps, which is quite a feat if you can pull it off, but I just don't see it happening. And that's just for him to score points. He also relies on the 2 McLarens somehow screwing themselves over and ending up outside the points.
Oh, here's Victor Album onto Lama Zasnishkai. Alex Broster's there in the background lurking. Here's Album to the outside line. Haven't seen much action for Victor Album, but he's going to try and enjoy himself in his final ever Formula 1 race, as he's going to go side by side with Lama Zasnishkai now and actually gets it down into turn 5.
Yes, he does. And you can just see now Graf is just under massive pressure from everyone. There's no explanation for it. The Red Bulls have just completely fallen off the pace. I wonder if there's like some minimal damage that's happened to that Red Bull with the contact he had with his teammate going into the back of him. That's perhaps slowing him down. But it's just completely inexplicable.
He's gone straight off Thomas Mandic, and Daniel Wall is going to get into the points as a result.
Yeah, as Sajnikai, I can't even say that name. It's fallen out of the points, and I'm sorry, I just heard a very loud explosion outside my house. I'm just going to go check that.
Well, we'll hope for the best, Jensen. Either way, that is Lama Zasnishkai's day over, I think. He won't be getting any points, and Ferrari certainly won't be very happy about how Abu Dhabi has played out for them, as, well, it's all but certain they have lost third in the Constructors' Championship to McLaren, as Alex Broster is going to try and be the next man to get past Lama Zasnishkai now for P14. Let's see if he's going to be able to do that. Everything good, Jensen?
Yeah, it was just a nuclear power plant, it's fine. Anyways, back to the racing. As you can see, Sajnikai is just under pressure now and falling down the order. There just seems to be this trend of cars that just end up in a collision and then just end up plummeting down the order. But he's going to fight back here. DRS wide open down the straight. He's going to have that inside line as well, which is going to be very beneficial coming onto that chicane. With both of them with DRS. And I think the Williams was out dragging the Ferrari there for a second, and the Williams is going to go around the outside, which switches back to the inside line. He's going to have that position there. DRS is going to come into play now. The rear flap on the Ferrari opening up, and down the straight we go. I think he just swerved at the Ferrari. I think bit of scare tactics there, a bit of terrorist driving. But yeah, Broster up into P14 ahead of the Ferrari, and I feel now all of the major constructors and championship battles are pretty much dead at this point now, with the Ferrari being out the points, with Klaas being down in P18. yeah, I think that's pretty much everything sorted now. Just 8 laps to go here.
Yeah, I think it just might be. As we're looking at Franco Gamba now, he's going to be chasing down Miran Evji for 4th. I have to say, what a day for Alpine it is at the moment, as they could be on for scoring even more points here. I think that's FG wide into turn 5. Is that going to be Gamba be able to do anything at the moment? The answer is no, but he's going to have the DRS to potentially launch an offensive into turn number 6. Gonna see now as he's gonna close in with the DRS. Oh no! And that's Dennis Graf, and now it's certainly over for Red Bull.
Yep, I wonder what's happened there. I don't know if that was a failure of some sort, or if that was, because I wasn't really paying attention there. I'm just going to see, has Mandic sent it into the back of Graf? And we're going to find out. Is it an Aston Martin torpedo? Yes, it is.
Oh no! And that is Thomas Mandic going into the back of the man who replaced him at Red Bull, and Dennis Graf is out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Red Bull will be scoring 0 points here at Abu Dhabi. It's an absolute nightmare for the Milton Keynes based outfit, but it is dreamland for Mercedes.
Yes, and I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on here and just point out that Aston Martin is powered by Mercedes, if I am right with this universe. So that was definitely planned by Toto Wolff and big Mercedes in a deep state thingy-majig. So yeah, as you can see now, Graf has retired from the race. We've got a few laps to go here now, so obviously just going to see it out to the end now. Hopefully nothing drastic happens, but we do have that podium fight hopefully coming our way, with Gamba proceeding up the field now with FG in P4 trying to defend him now.
Yeah, this is going to be certainly an exciting fight. It's Miran Evji versus Franco Gamba, the Alfa Romeo versus the Alpine. I'm going to see who's going to come out on top here. Seems like this track really does favor the two Alpine cars. As we head down into turn 5, Gamba's going to get another shot at it. It looks like he's there on the inside. FG's left the space for the Italian. As we're going to head down the back straight now, it's going to be Gamba with the DRS to try and close it on Miran Evji as much as possible. As we're going to head into turn number 6 now. FG's going to be left defending on that outside line as Gamba picks the inside into turn 6. FG's later on the brakes, tries to defend by swinging around the outside. He's going to jump over the curb into turn 7 though. It's going to be Gamba who's going to get the better exit then as we head down the second of the back straights now. Gamba's there on the outside with the DRS. That's going to allow the Italian to try and power through into turn number 9 as he's going to swing around the outside, not before running wide, but it is going to be Franco Gamba up into 4th as Alpine now run 2nd and 4th.
And that is truly incredible. Cool sec now. P3, there's 7 laps left, and Gamba has got 7 seconds to find. So that's going to be very interesting to try and see if he can make that time up. And I do believe he has the ability in the car to do so. As we're just watching now, Mandic, who took out Graf earlier in the race, a couple of laps ago now, rounding the final corner, he's going to try and take on Wally. See the cars going into turn 1. Got this little squabble now for points, with Arnold on the back of it. See what happens here now. The Aston Martin powering up the hill. We'll just have to see what's going to happen in the dying stages of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, the championship may just be decided, but there's still important places in the midfield up for grabs here. As Mandic is chasing down Daniel Wale for 9th. It's double points for Alfa Romeo so far. If Wale would keep himself in the top 10, be the first time this season Alfa Romeo would score double points. And he is gonna try and hold it though. Obviously, there's been a few incidents this race. All of them have been looked at by the stewards, and at the moment then the verdict is there's a few 5-second penalties been dished out. There's a 5-second time penalty for Thomas Mandic, Lewis McIntyre and Lamazas Nishkai, which has been dished out to them. So 5 seconds will be added on to their respective race times, and then the red incident between Alfred Klaus and Dennis Graf, and then also the incident at turn 1 will be reviewed after the race. So yeah, McIntyre and Zasnishkai penalized for that incident, and then Mandich penalized for his incident with Dennis Groff. So, yeah, pretty expected for them to receive penalties for that.
Yeah, more explosions outside my home. Wonderful. Adelberg now up into P8. It's a great day today for the Alpines and the Alpha Tauris, who are both going to be scoring double points and podiums. So excellent day in the midfield for them. As you can see, McIntyre now under pressure from his teammate. His teammate's actually overtaken him. Shuto, who started, what was it, P14, I believe? Oh, no, he went out in Q1.
Yeah, P16 he started.
Yeah, P16, and he's already ahead of his teammate McIntyre.
Yeah, brilliant race from Josef Fredrik Schuto. He's really been the calm in the storm today, and he's just made his way up into P6 as Eric Adelberg is going to try and get himself a few more points. He started pretty low as well today. I think he started P18 if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he did. He started P18, so he's climbed 10 positions up as well. So brilliant from Eric Adelberg.
Yeah, lots of great stories today, along with all of the Hero to Zero stories, like Graf and Klaus, the two Red Bulls. Just going to see now, got 4 laps to go here, and you can see there on the timing board the overtakes that have happened today. Quite a few. So Gamba's climbed up through the field. Wally Albon starting last has climbed up the field. Yeah, lots of things going on here. Just watching now. Mandich trying to get past to Wally. Just going to see the intervals now. Gamba 5 seconds behind his teammate, so he is gaining, but it's probably not going to be fast enough to win this race. Not win this race. What am I saying? To overtake his teammate. If he was going to win this race, that might have been a bloody miracle. But unfortunately, so it's not. As now, Sasnish guy is going to be. Was that a bit of contact?
I don't know, but it seemed like both of them veered off the track quite aggressively. Well, not off the track, but it did run a bit wide. Johansson's moving absolutely everywhere to try and get the Ferrari, though, as he's going to go to the inside line of Lamas Sasnishkai, and I think he's gotten that one done.
Ooh, yes, he has, but maybe not. No. He's got the DRS. DRS assistance down and straight away. That Ferrari keep it up well. The Ferrari's going to switch to the inside the line, but I wonder if he's just going to let Johansson by for this part, because then he's going to think about this next DRS zone, which runs down towards a hairpin. DRS wide open for Sasnikai. Don't think he's gaining too much on him coming towards the hairpin. No, it's way too far back to try and even consider a move. And yeah, so I think that's Johansson well and truly ahead as Shuto now. Shuto, yeah, can't even talk anymore. Adelberg looking to overtake McIntyre for P7. But widely used to be considered the best of the rest position, but nowadays it's just whatever.
Yes, indeed. And well, at this time, with 3 laps to go, Parachi has led every single lap of this race. It's been a truly dominant display from the Macedonian. If he would come home to win, it would be his 3rd consecutive race win, and I think that equals the longest consecutive win streak we have had in Formula 1, if I am not mistaken. I'll have to fact check that. But here is Daniel Fraser then. He's going to try to go around the outside line of Lamas as Nishkai. Last time these two battled was in Formula 2 all the way back in 2017. But yeah, they'll now be reunited in a very, very unlikely way in Formula 1, fighting alongside each other. But Zasnishkai is going to hold off Daniel Fraser then for P15.
Yes, he is indeed. So yeah, lots of drivers falling down the orders today. Sasnikai is one of them after the incident with McIntyre. Obviously, McIntyre getting punished for that, but obviously Sasnikai will think that's not enough. As Wally still under pressure from Mandich with Arnold behind. Lots of these trains that seem to form with cars not being able to get past each other with the DRS. Just seeing now at the timings. Shooters come into DRS range of FG. But we've got this little battle going on here. I wonder if Mandic is going to try and force something down inside. But here's Fraser and Sajnikai going wheel to wheel around the outside into the final corner, and he's made it stick.
Yeah, there's Daniel Fraser up at the 15th, and that Ferrari looks hopeless. There is damage to that Ferrari, obviously, and it's just dropping down the order. Really nothing left for him to do. So we're now on lap 31 out of 33. Few last lap battles approaching then, as we're looking at Eric Adelberg chasing down Lewis McIntyre. Let's see if the Swiss man's going to be close enough to line anything up into turn 9. No, not quite. So Adelberg's going to have to stay behind through these last couple of corners.
Yeah, and I'm just going to point out, Fraser's overtaken a Red Bull, a Mercedes, and a Ferrari today, which is kind of mental to think about, and still only finishing P15. So that's the kind of race we've had today. Adelberg still trying to get past McIntyre, heading onto the penultimate lap for these two. Rounded the final corner, Adelberg wanted to try and find something, try and find a little bit of time. He's only half a second behind, so we're going to have the benefit of the DRS down the back straightaway. But we're just going to have to see what happens now. I think it's about 6 miles left of racing to go, if my maths is correct, and my memory of Crofty's commentary is correct as well. So yeah, round the hairpin they go now. Let's see if he gets the DRS.
Oof, and Adelberg locked up there into turn 5. That's cost him massively. You can see he's now 8/10 behind Lewis McIntyre. But I have to say then, I think now is maybe a good time to try and maybe look back at this season, how it's been, for a lot of these guys. Eric Adelberg, he was so highly tipped as well, coming from that record-breaking Formula 2 season. And while he's been in the shadow of his teammate Will Parrish, I guess he's enjoyed his highs as well. He's finished P3 at the very chaotic Mexican Grand Prix. Well, yeah, it's not been a bad season at all. Neither has it been for this man, Josef Frederick Schuto. He's currently chasing down Miran Evji for 5th. Schuto, first season with McLaren. Obviously, after spending a bunch of time in that very uncompetitive Williams car, has finally been able to unleash that pace that's been hiding for so long. And I mean, what a season it's been as well. First ever race winner for McLaren, and well, he scored a podium as well. Interlagos would have been a second race win for him too, but had it cut short by Jesper Johansson at the Mexican Grand Prix. So it's certainly been a very, very good season to remember for Josef Frederick Schuto, and he is looking like one of the best drivers on the grid at the moment as he's chasing down Miran Evji, who himself probably wasn't expecting to be in Formula 1, was called up to replace Luca Farina, who went to Ferrari, as he was obviously on reserve driver duties this season and is filling his intended job at the moment. He's currently in P5. As well as Schuto's going to go to the inside line of Evji now, trying to get 5th in the final lap of this race. Evji's going to jump over the curb. He's going to try to get him as best as possible, as he's going to have the DRS on that outside line. Surely he should be able to get this one with the DRS, and he does get it up into P5. However, we're looking at this man, Enis Parachki from North Macedonia. Everyone's thrown everything at him this season, it feels like. But he is absolutely inevitable. He's going to come home for a 3rd consecutive win. And as Enis Parachki is going to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Enis Parachki is a 2-time Formula 1 world champion as he comes across the line to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's a record-breaking 3 wins in a row. Another outstanding season for Enis Parachki. Red Bull have faltered today. His teammates faltered, but he has been absolutely incredible over this race and the course of this season. Enis Parachki is your 2021 Formula 1 World Drivers' Champion as he wins here at the Yas Marina circuit.
And it's really, really deserved with that performance this weekend, qualifying on pole and then just ran away with it. So, yeah, but that's a very interesting race. Concludes with Parachki as world champion. I think it was pretty obvious once Klaus qualified in P4. That it was pretty much going to be Parashki's to lose, and he's put out a champion's drive today to claim the title and to show why he's probably the best man in the sport right now.
Yeah, I mean, once again, incredible stuff from Enis Parashki, and now he becomes the second ever two-time world champion in Formula One alongside his teammate Jesper Johansson. So yeah, once again, a brilliant job from Enis Parashki, and now he cements himself as one of the all-time greats in Formula One and the ACOC. He wins, as we're gonna get ready then for, or not get ready, but we're gonna just round off the results before we call it a day for the 2021 season. It is Enis Parashki who wins here at Abu Dhabi, your 2021 World Drivers' Champion, and it is, even though we've talked about Parashki, it's been Will Parrish who's come home second, his first podium. He's grabbed the fastest lap as well. Brilliant stuff from Will Parrish in second, and then it's Wojtek Kulasek coming home for P3. Second podium with Alpi, so brilliant from Parrish and Kulasek, and then Gamba finishes fourth. A great night for Alpine, as Josef Fredrik Schuto just got Mir and Evgy there. It's Schuto in P5 and Evgy in P6. Lewis McIntyre finishes seventh, with Eric Adelberg in 8th. Daniel Wale is in 9th, as Thomas Mandic finishes in the top 10.
As we move down to the non-point score, we've got Arnold in P11, just outside the points, with Albon in P12. P13 is Broster. Johansson involved with that first lap collision with Farina, down in P14. 15th is Fraser, who's had quite a great drive today, considering who was up against down at the back of the field. Sasnikai, obviously taken out by McIntyre, and Klaus, who was challenging for the title today. Sadly, who finishes down pretty much rock bottom last. He's the last classified runner of all the drivers. Not his day-to-day whatsoever. Completely bottled it, and you can just see by that last lap time, he was completely slow. He was completely gone by the end. So very disappointing end to the campaign. P18, so your non-finishers now. P18 is Graf, his second Red Bull, so not a great weekend at all for Red Bull. Great race for Red Bull at all. Toss P19, obviously taken out, I believe, by, I think it was Sajnikai, by rejoining the track at the chicane, took out Toss, and of course too much damage. And Farina in P20, obviously taken out on that lap 1, turn 1 incident. And that is the results for the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
And there it is then. There is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and the 2021 ACOC season as a whole coming to an end. It's been a wild ride. It certainly has been a wild ride this season in all 4 of our tiers. The Formula One Championship comes to a close. It's Enis Parashki once again, your 2021 champion. But before we say goodbye for one final time, for the last time this season, we're going to award Driver of the Day. Personally, I think I'm going to give it to Will Parrish. I think starting in P7, going all the way up until second place in that little Alpha Tauri, I think it was certainly a brilliant performance from him today. There's so many people I really want to give it to today, but I want to give it to Will Parrish. I think that was absolutely incredible from him, and I think he deserves it. So Will Parrish gets my Driver of the Day. What about you, Jensen?
Yeah, there's loads and loads of people that we could give it to today. I think personally for me, started all the way down in P11. Gamba obviously fighting his way through the field and ended up in a very respectable position by the end. Lots of great racing from him, capitalising a lot on the mistakes of the front runners today. Lots of front runner mistakes today, and he's ended up well off from that. So Gamba is my Driver of the Day.
Yeah, it's very that's fair enough as well. But that is it then for the 2021 ACOC season. Thanks so much for watching and staying with us through this entire season. It's been an absolute blast in all 4 tiers. And certainly it's been another brilliant season of the ACOC coming to wraps. Special thank you to everyone for watching. Special thank you to our lovely host, Turtle, for sticking and hosting all these races. Without him, the ACOC would be never possible. Thank you to our wonderful commentators. Thank you to Jensen, Giuseppe, Alex, Pausa, and obviously everyone else who's been in the commentary booth alongside me during this journey. And finally, thank you, the viewer, for watching. As we're now gonna go on a little bit of a break, try and sort things out for the following season. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to join us for the start of the 2022 ACOC season. I've been Miran.
And I've been Jensen.
Thank you, and